the Breakout League, that means then I watched the Breakout League. I thought that the Breakout League thought that it was special. I thought it was a really, really good. Thought your season with the Falcons was really good. And then you went into a Barbados team where you didn't get much playing time, but seeing around the team, you can see that there were some good vets around the team, and you were a fan favorite in Barbados, especially with the off the field. How was that experience playing for a franchise outside of Antigua and Barbados in the CPL again?
Barbados is a very good franchise holistically. A lot of good vibes. The coaches understanding, the players were great. I mean, the whole experience on a whole was awesome. You get to express yourself, you get what you wanted. It was just a good experience. The fans were great. I must say, Barbados is a lovely country. If you've never been to Barbados, you probably should try to take a vacation there sometime. So many things to do. But yeah, it was a good showing. As I said, they didn't play much games, but it's more than just playing. Everybody wants to play.
True.
And don't let no sportsman fool you. You're either in it for the money, for the love, or to have a good time. If you don't want to play, something wrong. Every sportsman wants to play. So of course I wanted to play, but I didn't get the opportunity I wanted. But they're having me back again. So I must be some kind of value to the team, which is a good sign for me and for those who wishing well for me as well to see me back with the Royals this year. I think it's going to be another good showing. The franchise, as I say, is a great franchise, well run. So, hopefully this time we can be better in terms of playing.
Yeah, so now we went again to last year before the CPL. We were introduced, there was an announcement towards the end of 2024 that we will have something called the Breakout League. The Breakout League, the first edition of this Breakout League was set to be special because of the rules. So the rules, you couldn't play you couldn't have certain amount of caps on your belt for West Indies and so on and all that. So it left us with the likes of Mikhail Louis, Karima, Mikhail, Casey, Karima, Joshua De Silva, Alec Athenes, you. It left us with the Jedediah Blaze, the Youngs. It left us with a lot of the top young talent coming through. When you heard about it, obviously, you knew that you were definitely going to be a part of this Leeward Islands Thunder team. Yeah, Thunder team. What were your thoughts initially in this competition?
The initial reason for this competition was to birth or to give recognition to guys who are not yet playing consistently at the top level. Because some of the guys have already played at the top level, but they're not cemented in West Indies T20 squad. So the original idea was to find new players, get to see it at the larger pool of cricketers in the T20 circuit. So I was excited because I know for a fact that I'm one of the better T20 players, especially in that particular category when you put the stipulations, the amount of games they play. When you look around, I was excited for the tournament because, I know once I put in the work, then I can show people more of what I wasn't getting before in terms of like the exposure. And that was a good tournament, for me personally because I was not playing the 4-day that year. So I had a lot of time to think about that T20, to prepare for that T20. So it was something I was expecting to do well in because I was preparing for a long time for it.
Yeah, so you guys played, and then you not only played, you dominated the tournament because you finished with the most runs in the competition. How was that feeling generally, knowing that, hey, you're a run scorer, but it came off of in your head and actually showed in your play, went into the scorebooks, went into the stats?
I mean, consistency is key in anything, and if you want athletes to do well, you got to give them consistent opportunities, and I felt that I got that in that tournament. I got the chance to be the man. I got the chance to play relax without, anything about, hey, this or that. No problem. I was just enjoying the cricket because I know, hey, I'm one of the top players. I have a chance to express myself. So I went out there and I did just that. When you play relaxed cricket, and even if you haven't if you're an athlete out there, any sports, and you think you're not getting the opportunity, what I learned from the Breakout League is still play with that calmness and don't put any added pressure on yourself. Because that tournament is one of the tournaments that I didn't feel pressured at no point. I was just enjoying the league, playing relaxed, and I felt that when you do that as a athlete, you get better performances.
Everybody in this room right now can say when you like we understand pressure and there is no regardless of the situation regardless of the situation pressure is something that we will always find, but being able to know that hey I need to score today, but we also nobody can run me over. If it doesn't happen, nobody's gonna run me over. It gives you a next sense of understanding. Coming off of a breakout league, first news that hit us was after the draft. You take it back to the season before that. The season before the breakout league was the Falcon season.
Yeah.
We brought back home our franchise. Think the home players at that time, we didn't bring Raheem back as yet. It was you,
Me,
Joel,
Pittman, Hayden Walsh.
Hayden, yes. So it was the four you, for sure. And you were tasked with the guy at the top of the order. A few times, I think you didn't open every game.
No.
But you were one of our bright spots. Was it shocking at all that the Falcons didn't retain you or find a way to keep you on the franchise after the breakout league, not after the CPL? Because if after the CPL they said, okay, he had a good CPL, but I mean maybe it's not that so much important to hold on to him. Yes, he's Antiguan, but then after the breakout league now, seeing okay, Tal, we have the likes of we have the other names in this competition, and he just find a way. And then in the final, it wasn't just against scrubs. In the final, yes, they fell short, but he still had an explosive 60 plus off of 20 or 30 bars. Was it shocking that they didn't retain you?
I think that decision was made before Breakout League, so it may seem to the public as that, but I think not to really study that personally, but I think the decisions were made before Breakout League, so I didn't think Breakout League had any effect on who went where or who get selected, unless there were some magic between teams and trade. But I think those decisions for CPL were made before the Breakout League, which to me was kind of weird because you're having a Breakout League. I mean,
yeah, we're having a breakout league to see the talent.
To work but I don't know how. I'm not an administration. I always tell people this. I don't get mixed up in admin work.
True.
I'm not in administration. When I get questions, I try my best to answer. But if I can't answer, hey,
just call the boss.
Yeah, call the boss. Call the.
It's that
so
simple.
The most I can tell, I think the decisions were made before Breakout League, so I don't think Breakout League had much effect. That's what I think. I'm not telling you I know for sure.
Yeah. So
but yeah.
Then you go off to Barbados. When you got when did you find out that you were going to be now drafted to the Barbados Royals?
It was a mixed emotion, a kind of feeling, because I mean I love the Falcons team and the setup, and I got opportunity. As I say, every cricketer wants opportunity to play, and I play all the games for Falcons. So I was guaranteed that if I go back with the Falcons, there's a high percentage that I would play all the games. But when you go to a new franchise, you don't know what to expect. So I was like, there's a possibility I might not play all the games. No, because it's a different setup. But then I still love a challenge. And it was not my decision. So, hey, you can't do nothing about it. You might as well go and take the challenge. So I'm a guy that loves the challenge. And thinking about playing for Barbados was, hey, you get opportunity to meet new fans, a new coach, new people. You never know what positivity can come out of it. So I never sulk about it. I was excited to go Barbados to get a new environment to see what it is like. But at the same time, I was thinking I would have went back to Falcons. But that's how sports goes nowadays. Like, you're not tied down to any team. especially when it's not your decision to make. You got to just go with the flow and perform when you get the chance. That's the most important thing. Just perform.
Just watching the NBA, I mean, a man that could have become the MVP get traded. So I mean, you're right.
You thought Jalen?
Yeah. No, you were in Barbados. This team, you look at all the teams, and this team is the most unique to me because you have the likes of West Indies greats in, I think, Rovman, Brandon, Shafin, whatever. These guys can be considered greats of West Indies. Then you have the likes of a Quinton de Kock, who is traditionally well known around the world as one of the greatest T20 players. Then you have the Ramon Simmons, the Johan Lane, the Mataras, all these young starlets, including yourself. So it's such a unique team because they have a huge depth in young players. Then you have some of the greatest to ever do it for the West Indies. Then you have one or two of the greatest in the world to ever do it. How was just that? I know you spoke about the atmosphere of Barbados, but how was that atmosphere within the team, like challenging practices, etc., etc.?
I would use the word fun. Yeah, I would use the word fun because the guys that you mentioned, they're guys that are welcoming in a way, like they're easy to talk to. Now you in setups you have international players coming in, like a lot of times different personalities, one from Australia, one from. Most times they may not get along, some might not talk, but in that dressing room, it was like a fun vibes. Those guys were welcoming. The overseas players gel well with the local players, and remember the Caribbean are divided by water, so the local players also, there's a possibility that you may not get along because you're not from the same country, different culture, different upbringing, but for some reason, everybody got along perfectly fine in that Royals team, and that would make. Even though we lost the first 5 games, that's why the team never lost any spirit, or that's why the fans still came out and support, because the whole energy in the camp was just good. I mean, gotta give shout out to Quinton de Kock. Hopefully one day you see this interview. Quinton de Kock is one of the greatest persons, not cricketer. He's one of the coolest persons. If you're struggling to perform, I guarantee you, go talk to Quinton de Kock. He probably give you a 2-word answer. But trust me, you're going to make a big difference. He don't speak much, but he just bring that calm energy to the camp. So he's one of the guys that just brings the calm energy. He's cool. You can always go and talk to him. He would just say, hey, give the simplest advice and just say, just enjoy what you do. Things like that. And that will make the camp so good because these guys were just calm. Rovman, same thing. Calm and cool. They don't fluster about much. They don't get frustrated much. They just calm and cool. So the leaders for the camp were great, cool, calm people.
Yeah, so before let's dial it back now to the local scene. Obviously, Blackhawks. I mean, you're in the area. Some people have lifetime contracts with them. Feel you're one. But just how you're on a team with the likes of Rakim, Karima, just to name a few guys who would have been a part of the Leeway Island setup, the CPL setup, the regional setup. When you guys come back into the Liberty setup, do you feel the local setup? Do you feel that any additional pressure to perform?
Nah. I mean, first of all, for me, the way how I look at local cricket is to come back and work on things. Like a training. Because like majority of the guys that are in Leeward Islands or West Indies, when they come back locally, people will expect that, hey, Kofi's supposed to come back and score 10 hundreds in 15 innings, which is probably correct. You're that good to do it. So you should be able to do it. But players, the way I look at it, players of that caliber should not just go and think, okay, let me just dominate this cricket and score hundreds. Because if Kofi James scored 10 centuries for Liberta, that won't get me picked for Antigua team. It won't get me picked for Leeward either, because I already passed that level.
Yes.
So scoring 1000 is not the way I go about it. I go, yes, I want to score hundreds every game, but when I go back to play local cricket, it's like, okay, what I can work on. If I'm not cover driving the ball well, I'm going to join the games in local games. I'm going to try, work on the cover drives to execute and see how well I do. If I'm not pulling well, if I need to work on my balance, make sure I get some videos when I play the games to see how I play. That's how I go about it. Because I remember one year, everybody was telling me, hey, you got to score this amount of runs because you wasn't in Leeward Island, the last team they picked you, so you have to go and score. I'm like, boss, me not have to go score. Me not have to prove myself on this level anymore. It's not about scoring how much runs you score. It's about me coming back to this level and working on my game. So I was never pressured. I never had any pressure to myself to perform on that level. Yes, I want to win for Liberta. Yes, I want to win championships and score runs and do well, but how you do it to me is the most important thing. Because I can go and play this cricket now. And if I want to beat bowling and score hundreds of 40 ball and 20 ball and 30 ball, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at what cost? Is it going to improve my cricket? If I can do that without hampering my development, I would have been doing it. But at what cost? At what cost? You can go and swipe 2, 3, 4 weeks of cricket, beat everybody bowling. You might score 100, then you might out cheaply. And then when you go back to Leeward Islands, you got to start work on things that you could have been working on for the last 4 weeks. But instead, you prefer going this beat bowling. So for me, I was never pressured to perform. But when I go back to local cricket, it's about working on what you have to work on. Because when you reach the next, when you go back to the Leeward camp, they want to know that you were working on something. When you go back to West Indies, they want to know, hey, the 4 weeks you were in Antigua, that you were developing your skills or enhancing or working on your weakness or something.
So, not your franchise, but your country, your country, Antigua Falcons, had a big announcement prior to the season, obviously, bringing back somebody that you played with in regional cricket and played against in local cricket as well, Alzarri. Just how important do you think it is for countries that, franchises, when they bring home, quote unquote, the biggest name at the time in their country? So he came back home. You saw now this year, you see Rovman will be leaving your team and he will going back to Jamaica. How important do you think that is for franchises?
Okay, so to answer this question, I have to show you the two sides of the story. Because a lot of people only see it one way.
Yes.
So the first side is you're looking at it from a cultural perspective, a prideful perspective, like, hey, I'm going to do it for country, or the fans going to say, we want Alzarri because he's from Antigua, we want Kofi or Jimbo. You're looking at it. On the other hand, the franchises are looking at it as a business because they have to make money.
Players, yep.
So we want to pick the best players that suit our game plan. If it includes 3, 4 Antiguans, if they want part of the best, we'll pick them. If they can't keep up the standard, we're not going to pick an Antiguan just because he's from Antigua. So you got to look at it from those two perspectives. The thing about it, though, what I can say is a lot of people compare CPL to like an Indian Premier League or a Big Bash and say, hey, when you go in India, they don't care where you're from. I mean, it's different to the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
India, regardless of who plays, that crowd, that stand go full.
For sure.
India have what? Almost 1 billion people.
For sure.
Regardless of who you're from or where you come from, that stand go full. In the Caribbean, we got to be a little bit more strategic, to me, with the local players, because, come on, that stand in Antigua is going to be full if you have Alzarri.
For sure.
More than if he's not there. And we got to be realistic. We don't have the cricket lovers in the Caribbean like before. 2007, at a young age, when you go cricket, it doesn't matter who playing the stand full. 2026 is not the same. So I guess teams can probably they look at it that way, like, you know what, we got to get back. Maybe that's why they went for Alzarri, because they might say, hey, you know, we got to get one of the big stars from Antigua here so we can get the crowd. Because sponsorship, sales and everything has a part to play. It may not be big like England where T-shirt sales or NBA, but
yes,
it does have a part to play when the local stars in the Caribbean, because Caribbean cricket is more cultural than any other league in the world. Any other league. Indians don't care where you're from. You get picked, you play, they make the money. England, Australia, those leagues, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, those leagues are full of cash. The CPL, to me, is practically in the same boat in terms of the franchise cricket, but there's an element of, because the islands are always separated, in terms of waters. Like I'm from Antigua, you from. It's not the same like if you're from India and you're from Chennai and one from Bangalore. Like when I'm from Antigua, it's a whole different national flag. It's a whole different national anthem.
Yeah.
Different culture. So people generally will want to support that
Their
country
own,
more
yes.
if they see their local players getting a push. But as I said, the next end of the stick, the franchise can't just pick you because they're from Antigua. So it is they can be strategic. I think Alzari was a good move for that, to make more money in Antigua because hey, who now gonna want to see Alzari play? I mean, you have 5 games in Antigua compared to 1. Because when he come up with a 1 game versus Antigua, that's just one. But no,
all you see.
He's here for 5 games. His fans, his family, people he go school with, everybody gonna come and watch, and you're gonna make more money that way. So maybe you can look at it from both ends of the sticks. It's just up to your perspective as a person.
Early in the year, we saw the under-19 team play in the World Cup. We saw maybe about 6 from Antigua. You know, the likes of Micah, Matthew, Tanez, Joel, and so on, playing for the under-19 team. Right now, I like the crop coming up. And I spoke about that because maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, me and you were talking about the qualification for the Olympics. Yeah. And we cannot qualify as the West Indies. So I text you immediately and say, boy, this is a chance to make history. Antigua receiving an Olympic berth can be career changing for all of the Antiguan players. The you, the Ninos, every single person that put on the flag. Now, we often ask this question, are we ready for the countries to break away from West Indies? Just short, quick answer. Do you think that we are ready for it in general to compete against the world?
The big question is, what do you mean by ready? Because when you look at it, if you ask me, am I ready to play against international players? What do you mean by ready to perform, ready to win the competition, or ready to perform enough that I can be recognized? Because I think being ready for what is why? For what? I can say be ready to what? Jog 10 laps? Be ready to what? To do what?
So right now we are. If I look at our team and Antigua would happen to qualify for a World Cup, right now we are battling amongst a few of the associate nations. I honestly don't see us beating much of the full members. In the T20 format, I trust our against plenty team. But in the more disciplined format of the ODI cricket, I don't see us beating a lot of the full members. I think we have the talent, but again, they have the experience on the international level is way different.
They have money.
And they have that. There is also that. From the show, I don't really try to talk about money because, boy.
No, but you gotta be realistic. Like Afghanistan, for example, they wouldn't have been where they were
without money.
If they just had talent.
Yes, for sure.
Talent without the finances to develop the talent, without the necessary equipment, the facilities, the coaches, the quality pitches and everything. I mean, come on, everything. It doesn't have to do with just money, but Afghanistan had talent before they had money. And they didn't make it, but they got support now. They grind, they work hard for years, they develop a reputation. ICC probably give them more money over the years and to help them develop certain things. So you got to have the element of finances and sponsorship, which they have. So Antigua is going to have to find proper sponsors, get proper programs, developments. We might not make it in the next 10 years, but 15 years from now, there's a possibility that, hey, we can be the next Afghanistan or Ireland or one of these associate teams that were nothing 10 years. Nepal and these teams were nothing 10 years ago. Now Nepal is beating teams like West Indies and the Sri Lankas and these teams. So it can be possible in the future if you do it the right way and invest in the right way. But to answer your question about being ready, you can be ready for a lot of things. I think at this particular time, the World Cup is the Olympics is in 2028. The qualifiers will be 2027. And we gotta be honest, this is a quick turnaround for everybody. The news came, and in 2 years, they gotta be ready to play against top players with teams that are already established. So to answer your question, I think in a situation like that, there's only one objective: go and try get recognized. Go, and if you get the opportunity, try, because when you look at the dynamics of it, especially the Caribbean have the hardest possible route to make it.
For sure.
Every other country is what they normally do. You play the Asia tournament, who win go? You play this. We have to play a Caribbean tournament,
And
and then you choose one from there. And you know, like, it's very difficult to be true, because we know Antigua had never played on their own at that level. We got to play against the Barbados, the Trinidad, the Jamaica with the Roughman and the Hetmai, and we got those already challenges for us. So as a player and as a coach or as a organization, we should not. Yes, it would be fantastic if we can go and qualify, beat every big team, and win the Olympics. But come on, we gotta look at it sensibly. This is more of an opportunity to get your players recognized, and I think the players in Antigua were good enough to go and perform that a few people can be recognized that probably haven't been getting the opportunity. So you probably can get in a MLS or Guyana Super League, or Bangladesh somewhere, because of the Olympics. So to me, it's just an opportunity for us right now to think about giving the players an opportunity to showcase their talent, rather than thinking about let's go and beat Barbados and then qualify and then beat India, Australia, South Africa and win the Olympics. Nah, it's about giving your players the opportunity to just go and express themselves. Those players who are not getting opportunity, they get some. Those who were getting opportunity but didn't get a chance or didn't get selected, you get a chance to prove yourself now, to fight for a spot in a West Indies team or fight for a spot in a CPL team, etc.
Yeah, because I mean, the last time Antigua would have played against international competition on that level would have been 1998 in the Commonwealth Games, and team Australia and Jamaica look small. Australia,
And imagine
India.
in
And
99,
Nigeria, you have Ambi and
Viv and Richie Richardson and the whole Ridley Jacobs and all these great cricketers. So
yeah, so it was pretty rough. But definitely we're out of time. Go over time. Shout out to Pastor Gavassi. Some rapid fire questions straight up. Batting or bowling?
cricket.
No, I have to pick one. Not over. Batting or bowling? Which one you prefer? Elliot all rounder. So you can slide with that one. Because that's your one lifeline.
Okay.
Long red ball format being 2-day, 4-day, 5-day versus the white ball cricket.
Cricket.
Favorite cricket ground?
Ooh, that's a tough one, boy. It's definitely between Surviv or Brian Lara, but I gotta say Brian Lara, man. I score all my runs in Brian Lara. I average like 70 something. I probably had the highest average out of any cricketer that I ever played, Brian Lara, and I can confidently say that. So Brian Lara.
Favorite cricket shot?
Back foot punch to cover.
Okay, if it's a sweep, but me not getting cuffs.
No, sweep. The reason I would not say
every
sweep.
time me see you, you know the sweep shot they get you out some of the time.
But
You want
that
choke.
sweep shot. The sweep shot give me 3,000 runs and get me out 10 times. So
Yeah,
you got.
But me want throw my phone in the
Hey,
TV, so
you
sometimes.
You know that.
Listen,
you know Brian Lara get out half.
Oh my! Hey,
Brian Lara, wait. Before I go, Brian Lara get out a cut. Every
And
other
he
innings.
continue
But guess
cut.
what?
Yeah, he
But
continue
guess
cut.
what? Brian Lara have
You're
probably
right.
the best batsman ever.
You're right.
That cut shot get you 10,000 runs. But
You're
you
right.
out about 40 times. But take the runs too.
Toughest bowler use face. It doesn't have to be international. It could be it could be
Lara.
backyard. It could be backyard
Sunil
cricket.
Narayan. Hands down, Sunil Narayan. Hands down.
You know why we rub no fellas. Best teammate. Could be school cricket, backyard
Best
cricket.
teammate.
And except for me, because remember you play grassroots together
Yeah,
over there.
yeah.
So except for me. They want
Shindel up there too now. So.
yeah. The best
But
teammate.
I can't really compare you and Shindel. I'm more than teammate. But Shindel definitely up there. Shindel is a big motivator. Shindel make you feel like you can fly and thing.
For sure.
But there's a lot of options. A lot of options. Teammates. You have Michael Graves. Come on, that's my boy. Amal Nathaniel. Everybody in the same bracket, to be honest. You have Raheem Carnwall. Like the bracket big.
Your biggest cricket inspiration?
My father.
For sure. For like me wonder how.
No, but the thing, like, because he passed with me, like, maybe me currently. So I was thinking if
No,
me
no,
currently or not, but
generally.
my father.
Generally. Well, this next question I'm high, I'm going to skip the one day. Messi or Ronaldo?
CR7.
For sure. But just, again, what is one thing that people won't know about you?
I'm a man of many talents. People know I have talents, but they don't know the extent of the talent. A lot of people don't know the things I do, the things I love that I do in my pastime. You have to know me personally, like in depth, to know the things that I do every day.
Just last week, the softball association were in here, and after the interview, they were talking about this young man, DeAndre Harris, I think he last name, and I was telling Spliff, yo, me know me talented, cause me play plenty sports. And the people like Andres talented, cause Andres also play plenty sport. But the most talented people I've seen in for me life might be Kofi, for sure. There's no sport that Kofi, even if he can't play this morning, by tonight, Kofi can play the sport. Kofi for sure are one of the most talented persons I've seen in my entire life.
A lot of people don't know that. But they know I can do things, but
because they see
people like you and Shindel and so that know me personally.
What happens is, right, they often end up and see the craft. So the craft of cricket, the craft of athletics, the craft of volleyball. So then they forgot that all I can play football,
and everything at a good standard, not just like, play.
Yeah.
But just like up to the other day, I was in a group chat. Me and football Chelsea group chat, and we talking about the football, and they were like, "Oh, young cricketer, you know about football."
And you see,
and I could have tell them, but me really have this, like many times, even volleyball. I used to play volleyball very good.
I tell you.
The national team used to call me and yo, come and play the volleyball. You look players. You're the best, not because you're my family, but. You and can't remember your right name. Forgive me, Tosti. Forgive me, Tosti. I remember your right name, but you and Tosti are two volleyball. I'm look up and I always want to play this. Not even just to play, just to come watch I play volleyball. And Tosti, this time you come and play for the. Other players they say come and try because when I decide to play this, do well. Then basketball, same thing. I get called up for Antigua and the 21 football team 3-4 years in a row as a keeper. When we just go grammar school. Mm-hmm. Most people don't know that. I do athletics. Shindel know me used to run athletics, long distance. Like a lot of different things. And the older I get, the more things I do. I can play ping pong really good. I still feel me the best. Still feel me the best in Antigua. For sure. But when I really play not tournament, so I can't say me the best. But in my mind, I feel me the best.
Remember that journey there too.
Yeah,
ping pong, plenty journey.
Yeah.
But generally, Kofi, again, thank you for, taking the time out for come on the radio station. Definitely hope the injury gets better. Hopefully that, it is not to an extent that you can't have an appearance sometime throughout this season. And if you can't, hopefully, nothing, it doesn't go south. Again, very talented. I think that you still have a bright future. At age 28, I mean, the beauty about cricket, we saw people like a bowler and so make them debut at 33 because, I mean, you have the likes of Mitch Stark, Hazelwood, and all these people in front of you. I often call you before seasons and I say, and you. The one thing I like about you for sure is you always have goals. So you say, hey, going into this season, if we get four games, the average must be this with the strike rate, and if me do out, it must be 4. If I out 4 times, it must be 4 ball that out me. It's not supposed to be me giving my wicket 4 times, and these small things go a long way. So again, thank you for joining the Endgame Sports Show. It was a pleasure having you on here for sure.
Thanks.
Now convince Shindel that we maybe heap on the next day, because
we'll catch you before you left.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Kofi, you never have a life.
Catch you before Friday to come.
Sure.
From Friday hit, that's it. So between now and Friday, good.
So you're locked into the Endgame Sports Show. My name is Adrian Constant. It was a pleasure being on here with you. Today is Tuesday. Coming up tomorrow, the regular, it's the midweek, and we definitely have things to watch. So before we go, let me go and look at that score. So West Indies is currently playing against Pakistan, and Pakistan need 97 runs to win with 1 wicket in hand. Again, now, hope the West Indies curse not happen, because one thing about we love make tail enders take off. And Babar Azam is still at the crease. So The game still good because Baba Azam is still at the crease. He's at 53 off of 103, just trying to shepherd his team on. This is the Endgame Sports Show. Coming up next is Pastor Kavasi and the handsome gorilla. Well, he is the handsome gorilla. The afternoon drive time show. See you tomorrow.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM, coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.